Indian government banned pesticides because they were also banned by other countries? This raised very important question. Should India ban pesticides because they are already banned by other countries? Let's see what international agencies says. International agencies like FAO says, no. Country should not ban a pesticide because it is banned in other countries. FAO says, legislation must be designed to be able to deal effectively with specific problems applicable in the country. Good pesticide legislation must take account of the economic and social situation of the country as well as any specific technical requirements such as crops grown, pest problems, dietary patterns, toxicity of the required pesticides, level of literacy, climatic and environmental considerations. Further to it, FAO says developing countries should design procedures suited to their own specific needs and not necessarily adopt all the elements of a regulatory scheme as may be in operation in another country, particularly a developed one. It simply means do not follow other country restrictions blindly. Let's see what the regulatory agencies of developed countries says. Regulatory agencies of developed countries says, no. Country should not ban a pesticide because it is banned in other countries. We illustrated it by citing examples of 4 countries where OP pesticides are registered. The total number of OP registered in Australia is 58, in Brazil 34 OP are registered. USA has 22 registered OP, while India has only 18 and the number is further reduced in India from 18 post-ban of August 8, 2018. It clearly indicates that regulatory agencies around the world do not consider what is happening in other countries. They never fall prey under false propaganda and will always try to give better options to their farmers. These pesticides are in use since decades. Let's see what our past experience of their usage suggests. Historical use experience says, no. No need to ban. These pesticides are safe to use as per approved label. For instance, OP are considered safe worldwide for use directly on animals. No adverse effect reported till date. They are used for direct application on livestock and pets for parasite control. Even OP are used on human directly for head louse treatment. You remember fogging operations. Remember the child following the insecticide fog. OP are approved for fogging operation too. You will also surprised to note that your household pest control operator also uses OP for treating your home to get rid of house pests. There are no adverse dietary effect of OP reported due to MRL even after decades of use in agriculture and for storing food grains. Not only that, historically WHO recommends OP for indoor residual spraying. WHO recommends 4-OP for indoor application due to their usefulness. Not only that, scientific studies, conducted on term and conditions pre-approved by government, says, no. OP do not pose any risk. No need to ban them. Let's understand the underlying risk by an example of acute toxicity comparison. Acute toxicity is scientifically measured as LD50 value. You might have heard aspirin. Aspirin is a painkiller. Aspirin has a LD50 value at 950 while the acephate insecticide have the at 1400 LD50 value only. Makes no mistake, more LD50 value means safer the chemical. Here in this test, acephate is safer than aspirin. With no exception, governments have checked the underlying risks before approving the manufacturing of these products in India. Some important tests are: is there any use toxicity risk? Result: no risk at approved uses. Is there any environment risk? Result: no risk at approved uses. Is there any MRL risk? Result: no risk at approved uses. Is there any cancer risk? Result: no risk at approved uses. Then interviewing question is, why did Indian government start the process of banning OP? Are you thinking the bad advertising? Yes. You are right. Nowadays, ban is being imposed to counter the fear-mongering by foreign-funded NGOs and their mass media agenda with vested interest. Nobody asks who are these NGOs whom Indian government is trying to please. These NGOs are surviving on fear-mongering. Centigrow published a report on the reliability of these NGOs. Some part of their research is reproduced here to understand the vested interest of so-called NGOs. NGOs usually project themselves as they are working for farmer and general public. In their study, Centigrow found that India's Intelligence Bureau alleges NGOs are working as the tool by foreign powers for intervention in India's policy. Centigrow further claims that they have evidences that NGOs are influencing the Indian policies. In a healthy democracy, policy should be made independently by representatives chosen by public. Who are choosing these NGOs? The foreign powers. Not only that, deep dwelling into referred research highlights that European countries funds environmental NGOs to change India's national policies. In year 2015 and 2016 only, CSE received 103 crores rupees from foreign countries. Generic pesticides bashing brings them pecuniary gains. Why should EU fund such NGOs in India? Simple. For expanding their pesticide business. This is the real face of foreign-funded NGOs. NGOs often claims that pesticides are polluting water bodies. But government data just says opposite. The India's inland fish production is continuously increasing. It was not possible if water were polluted. NGOs are spreading lies. NGOs do not left any opportunity, even they projects pesticides as reason for farmers' suicide. Data says something else. We encourage you to read the NCRB and WHO data on this. You will find that NGOs have lied even on human suicides. We should not get influenced by their false propaganda. If we will not take care, our domestic crop protection industry will collapse. Regulatory policies should be made on sound scientific principles. India should not ban the pesticides under the influence of foreign-funded NGOs. Like and share this video, and help us to promote scientific regulatory principles.